It is a strange time of year, the coming of autumn. The sweet breath of summer still blows gently against your cheek, and green leaves rustle and whisper in branch and bough. But if you believe all that you see and hear, and you are false in your senses, for beneath that gentle caress lurks something else, a coolness that crisps the air and seeps from the earth as though the soil is remembering what you are not sure. But you shiver and know that all has a tithe to pay. The signs are subtle but everywhere. Leaves on oak and apple and thorn may still appear green and lively, but turn one over and you'll find the first blush of amber creeping along its veins, like a prophetic rune written in the colors of blood. Listen closer to their whispers. Do they speak of wind, or do they murmur warnings of the coming dark? The orchards are burdened with fruit, each apple, pear and plum swollen with flesh and juice that tastes enticingly sweet, as if the trees themselves know there is a fattening for a coming slaughter. Even the harvest moon grows fat and full, hanging as it does in the star-spangled heavens like a plump cheese waiting for its soft flesh to fall beneath a reaper's knife. In the hedgerows, shadows gather that belie the fall of the sun. They seem to move with purpose, patches of darkness forming strange shapes, drawn by the scent of ripened grain and reaching for what? Their tithe share. The old women in the village shudder and cross themselves when they go about their gleanings and give back a portion of what they gather, though they cannot say why. Their grandmothers could have told them, but those voices have grown as thin as autumn mist and burn away in the strong, low sunlight of the season. At this time, in the liminal space between summer and the hungry dark of winter, something stirs. It begins with the air, though not all notice. The city dwellers note only the acrid tang of diesel and petroleum, but you who are of the country folk quicken as the first wine. Sharp breeze rides in with the dawn and spills a scattering of diamonds upon lush meadow grasses. Crisp and intoxicating, it still breathes the green sweetness of late summer and the rich earthiness of turned soil. But there is a voice whispering on the edge of hearing, and you grow uneasy. You turn your eyes upon papery leaves, bleeding their colors back into the earth, and notice the pungent odor of fungi, shining like lamps in the dimming day, and touching your tongue with a taste of menace. Soon the veil will grow thin, and you feel the stirring of the old gods, and some primal part of you will think uneasily of the pacts made when the first seeds were sown, and the frail new corn blades sprang from the soil and grew in strength under the kindly hand of sun and rain. Your heart beats a little faster as you walk in the beauty of the red and green and gold idyll, but you cannot but think of those who once dwelt in forgotten oak grove and barrow. You tell yourself their time has gone, but they were there long before the younger god came with his bells and crosses, and there they remain still. They have merely retreated back to the earth from which they came, but they never departed. They stir now in this strange in-between of light and dark, for it is their time, and they grow strong in the fierce light of the shortening days. You will not know their names, but the earth does not forget. Cernunnos, with his antlered crown, the Morrigan in her cloak of raven's feathers, Rhiannon and Epona, the terrifying horse goddesses who scatter the stars in their wild, headlong gallop through midnight skies, and countless others whose voices murmur in the autumn winds and growing strength as the frost creeps over the stubble. They are called by the great star wheel, and so are you, though it is the ancestors' voices that have turned your face their way. You hear their song in every stick and stone, leaf and branch, flower and root. The river sings in your ears and pours itself into forgotten pools, deep with tears from the gods who weep, and you, who are a child of the north wind. Understand this and remember the old ways from younger times when pacts were sworn with blood, grain and offerings made in acknowledgement of the bounty given. You understand, as the old ones did, that the earth does not give without its tithe. For every bushel taken, a measure left for the folk of field and sky and water. For every tree felled, a sapling planted. For every stream dammed or diverted, a prayer made to the nymphs who dwell by their singing waters. This is the ancient pact, the tithe that has been forgotten by those who take but never give. You know this is so, for it has come to you in your quieter moments, when you walk the fields and woods, and wake in the holy hours of the night. But the earth remembers, and grows ever weary of the empty promises made by glib-lipped prophets, who say all but know nothing. The message is clear. You see it in the way the seasons have grown strange, summers too hot, winters that bite with a fierce cold, or diluvian floods, crying storms of rage with a fury born of despair. In the failing light of these glorious autumn afternoons, you hear their message like the steady pulse of earth energy. The crows that gather in the stubbled fields speak with the voices of your ancestors, telling of a time when every harvest began with offerings, when the first sheaf was left for those who tend the growing things in darkness, when the hunt began with prayers to Cernunnos, asking permission to take life so that life might continue and renew, when bread was broken and ale poured upon the ground before any mortal lip might taste the earth's bounty. This is respect for the earth and her blessings, and in your heart you cry out for those who do not understand or care for these things, and are blind and deaf to her warnings, which do not come in words but is that chill knowing that runs through your blood, like the low growl of coming winter. Know this and hold it close to your heart. Tend the earth kindly, or watch it turn barren. Honor the mother from whom you sprang, or face the hunger of a world turned barren. Give back more than you take, or find that the bounty of her garden will wither and die.